What's up, guys? It's almost November, and that means it's almost time to begin our NaNoWriMo projects. So what better subject for writing on the run than NaNoWriMo? I have 5 tips, count them, 5 that's going to help you score a win in November. My name is Robert Jones, and this is the Story Detective. Stick around. I want to say thank you and welcome to all of my new subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed already, there's a button down below that you can do so you won't miss my future videos. So let's get right on with it. Tip number 1. And I think this is important because writing, even NaNoWriMo writing, is personal. And the first tip is, what do you personally want to achieve out of this? Now, we all want to get our manuscripts finished. That's key. But your manuscript can either be a boost to getting that done, or it can be trying to get the whole thing completed. I've talked to a lot of people, and it varies from person to person. So I think setting your goals initially is very important. And remember that it's not a competition. What your friends are doing, what your writing group is doing, some of them may fall by the wayside, some of them may surpass you. But the thing is, you have to keep marching towards your goal, and don't be discouraged. Tip number 2, word count versus accuracy. Now, unless you're an expert at speed, I've read books that people have tried to get gigantic word counts. And the result of that experiment with the higher word count is they lost something in the end. And I can't remember the book offhand, but they failed. They reprinted a blog where they tried to get the highest word count possible, and in the end it wasn't cohesive. And that's because there's a shut-off point in your head between focus and concentration on what you're actually doing and just getting words down to get them down. And most of my personal NaNoWriMo failures and a lot of other people that I've talked to have tried to get too many words down. They've tried so hard that it became a gigantic bunch of blather and they didn't have anything that was usable. So you have to know for yourself when your ideas are flowing, when you seem in the zone, what's the right speed for you to get something usable. Because hopefully the end result and the goal is you have something that you can use and you can build upon in subsequent drafts by the time you're finished with this. Otherwise, what's the point? To learn how to get faster and more useless? It doesn't work. Tip number 3, and I call this the Stephen King approach, because it was inspired by something he said in his book on writing when he was talking about reading. And he said it really counts in terms of the little sips that he takes. If he's waiting online in a supermarket, taking those few minutes, and then when he has the bigger chunks, of course, you know, it all kind of flows together into a larger pool. And in terms of writing, it's the little sips and the bigger sips as well. Because if you're doing NaNoWriMo or even your daily writing, if you have a time that's set aside where you're sitting at your designated writing space, how does that work out in terms of the hours a day that you're working or that you're commuting back and forth to work? You have to find a way to take little sips in between. And those little sips add up to something larger. And how do you get those little sips in? Well, technology. That tech is in Story Detective for a reason, because I found technology to be my best friend when it comes to writing and when it comes to word count and getting something useful down. If you have your smartphone, you can find little moments where you can dictate a few lines. Sometimes I've spent 5 minutes and had several hundred words because I had ideas flowing. And in the moment, you're charged with that idea and you can get it down quickly. And then at the end of the day, you have chapters. And it really works. So you have to be thinking innovative and you have to be thinking of how best to use your time. And if you're not using technology, you're not using your time valuably. This brings us to tip number 4. Let's talk about dictation for a minute. When I first started dictating, I thought I would hate it. I was uncomfortable. I love keyboards, and like most writers, I needed that time that I was doing something physically with the keys, so by the time the idea happened here and it got to words, it had a few minutes of time to mature. And when I was dictating, I didn't think that was possible because there wasn't a delay. So that's why I decided to dictate when I was out doing other things. The mind works in a way that, say when you get up in the morning, I've heard a lot of writers say their morning routine, whether they're showering or shaving, they're doing something, inconsequential with their physical self, and their subconscious self is usually flowing with ideas. And you usually come out of that experience and think, wow, I have a lot of great ideas. I just need to write them down. But if you have your phone, you can dictate those ideas, and you can get them down more quickly and more fully than jotting down things that's going to, have to be patched up later on. So what I do is, whether it's work time, drive time, take those little moments, get that dictation down, and the more you do it, especially if you're out taking a walk, if you're cooking dinner, there's various things that you can do and times in your day when you can squeeze in time to write. And you'll see that once you start making that writing a part of your activity while you're doing your daily activities, you will actually come to like dictation better, and you'll use it more effectively. I know I have. Moving on to tip number 5, and this is the one that really brings it all together, and that's your tools. Now, we've already talked about smartphones and dictation and bringing that along with you to take those small steps of writing. But what about the times when you are preparing food for dinner, or when you're driving and your hands are occupied doing something else and you can't always safely hold your smartphone? Well, what about a lapel mic? You can buy a lapel mic that hooks up to your smartphone for about $12. And if you don't want to fumble around with wires, there are wireless lapel mics for around $50. And you can hook it on your shirt or your collar and turn on your phone, and you can be talking while you're driving, because that's another great time when you come up with ideas. You can be doing that while you're at work doing any kind of task that doesn't require more than one person. You have a few minutes alone, hook up your mic, and you're ready to go. Also, there are dictation devices for those who don't have smartphones. I know there's a few of you out there that are still stuck in flip phone territory, maybe Star Trek fans. And there's one or two that I know that don't have a cell phone at all. So what can you do? There are dictation devices that have a speech-to-text software that can turn your speech into text files. Mostly they're for Windows users. The ones that I found all have like Dragon Naturally Speaking or devices that you can hook up to Windows. They can cost, some of them a little bit more than the average dictation device that doesn't have the speech-to-text. But if you don't have a smartphone, that could be your smartest investment to get something like that. And in terms of keyboards, there's all kinds of rolling and folding keyboards out there. This one is one of the best ones that I found. This is the iClever folding keyboard. This is a tri-folding keyboard. It's no bigger than your hand. And unfolded, it's a full-sized keyboard. And it's backlit. It comes in 3 different colors: red, blue, and green. And as far as the world of folding keyboards go, this is really kind of a beast. It's compatible with Windows, iOS, and Android devices. It has a Bluetooth Connect. I've gotten about 3 weeks out of a single charge, and that's using it every day. So definitely one of the best portable keyboards that I've discovered. The links to everything is down below in the description, so check those things out, because in these times, which are unconventional, sometimes unconventional solutions have to apply. Don't let others define you. This is your writing goal and your story. Technology has made life easier for writers if we're willing to use it. You've heard the saying, think outside the box, and as creative people, we're always trying to do that. but sometimes we have to think outside of our chairs. Until next time, keep those keyboards clacking, keep your recording devices running. Use all the tricks and treats at your disposal to manifest your writing goal. You've got this. Be sure to let me know how you do in the comment section below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on the other side of this, right here on The Story Detective.